Well, the salon people on Akushe, how do they do? This is Clarence, aka Freestyle from Fefegity Radio London. I hope so all is well. It's been a while since I can't talk to her. Oh, it's been a while since I talked to her. Well, I want to talk to you. You, the salon man and the salon woman. You will happen for the listen to me now. Before I proceed, I go forward. I want to share with you now the third verse of the national anthem. That's the third verse of the Sierra Leone national anthem. I want to make you pay good attention to the words of the national anthem, the third verse, because I want to talk to you about mindset and also about the value system, your value system as a Sierra Leonean. So the third verse, it goes like this: knowledge and truth our forefathers spread, mighty the nations whom they led. Mighty they made thee, so too may we show forth the good that is ever in thee. We pledge our devotion, our strength, and our might, thy cause to defend and to stand for the right. All that we have, be ever thine own, land that we love, our Sierra Leone. I know say most of we know the first verse very well, and it's like a music. You listen to music, you know the words, or you know the verse. But until something happened to you, when you listen to that music again and you begin to listen, you begin hearing the words, the meaning of the words, then it means something to you completely. And this is it here with our national anthem: knowledge and truth our forefathers spread. Within you understand by that, knowledge and truth our forefathers spread. Now, I may talk to an elder, and a very respectable elder, and was saying to me that, do you know that our president Manabiyo go Nigeria, go see and go bigger? I was completely baffled, shocked, dismayed. The fact that it were about few people there around that believed with him to say, or maybe they don't say nothing. So I'm thinking to myself in that moment that we live in this world where technology is at will, something like that magnitude. I don't know how it can be kept so secretive. So then I begin think to myself, that especially for we day outside of salon, we picking them with over 20 or 30 years old, and they're looking forward to go home and maybe do something. Most of our picking them get ambition. At the same time, where there you have elders who lack, I would say, knowledge, but the truth is very worrisome, because a lot of the things where they happened, I come to the conclusion of what happened, is that the elders are not telling the truth to the younger generation. This is my conclusion, because they say you train up you begin in a way that you want them for go. So when you go, we depart from it. This is not saying where we grew up with. Not so. So when we have a nation of young people who are devoted their lives in lies, in delusional behavior, a one that is so detached from their own very history, culture and tradition, that is very worrisome. Because we begin with their themselves one be in a position where they want to go home and learn about these different cultures and traditions that we come up from. But who is going to tell them? Who that would tell them the truth? So it brings me to this point as well, where, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. Sierra Leone, everything is down to politics. And no Sierra Leonean not able to look at himself as a value system, as somebody with value. And what I mean by value, it's like whatever tradition you're coming from, your background has a value. And what is that value of that background? So say for example, Kono, all the people that were born at Kono, by virtue of the value of the land, they also should be highly valued as a people. Right? It makes sense, not so? If you come on a land way full of value, then you, the people living on that land, also should have more value. So that's what I'm talking about. So when we have young people growing up, say from Loko, Limba, Soso, Madingo, Fula, and Timini, and all these rest, Gizi, Shabro, and all these national, when have young people who have or in the position to tell stories to the ones that are coming up. So you're going to have a nation of young people absolutely abstract, devoid of their own self, not knowing where to go. And now let's bring me up to this point of the mindset, because the value system, like I said, every nationality or every tribe in Sierra Leone has a value-based system. So if we are teaching our children about the land that they came from or their forefathers came from, have them that knowledge, then that knowledge will be passed on, become a truth-based, become a cultural-based, and be passed on, as a point now whereby if you look at a lot of places in Sierra Leone in the countryside have been left maybe by foreigners. Because why? A lot of this tradition have been killed and have been kept by the elders, and sometimes the elders don't pass on this tradition apart from those secret societies. I'm talking about the land, right? I was reading about Farmer Tammy, the great Mani conqueror. You will say is a Timini conqueror, and settle around the Rokel River, the Koya chiefdom, Robanga. And when you look at that, there's a tradition that the chiefs, the modern chiefs, because of the powers of Farmer Tammy, right? What they say is that every paramount chief, in Koya, chiefdom, they have to go and pay pilgrimage to Robanga, the shrine of the great Farmer Tammy. So, say for example, history like that, if it was passed on to, the knowledge was there and passed on to, right? It becomes a place where now we have tourists who, instead of bringing in mines or any sort of modern development, that particular chiefdom will be preserved for this historical pilgrimage for us, even as Sierra Leoneans, to go there and learn more about one of our forefathers. You see what I'm saying? So the value of the people in Koya chiefdom today would have been much more, whereby people would go there and pay respect. And there are many, many places like this in Sierra Leone where, if you look at the, the zoo, agriculture, if you look at, these places where you have natural habitat, right? And people are complaining that it's been destroyed. So that means that the value of the people in those parts also been destroyed. So all of this is going on, and the elders are still not telling the truth. But I think what we need to do in order to go forward, we need to, again, I'm talking about Sankofa here, we need to actually look at what is at hand. So let's come to mindset. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and and it's like Sierra Leone, you can't really talk about development really as a Sierra Leonean without bringing political parties into it. It's difficult to talk about national or individual entrepreneurs, business people, innovators. It's very difficult to have conversations like that. I mean, you understood what you're talking. Very, very difficult, because everybody in our politics, they want to talk. So I was like saying to him, this fella, it's like, this is not about politics. It's about our mindset. It's about our mindset. Because if you take, for example, if you've been lied to and passed on the wrong information about where you're from, everything about you becomes very difficult to unravel. So where you have political parties manifesting that dysfunctionality that is created by them, and then use that to bring young people with wrong information about what development means to them. So I was saying to him, this person, I say, listen, we have to change the way we're thinking about our country, right? So I was making an example. I was giving an example because we're in London, isn't it? So I said, take for example, where we come out Salon in Canada's country, right? We had to come and learn. We had to learn how to be responsible. That means that, something that we don't know at tongue about paying bills regularly, answering to letters, writing, do something for yourself, basically. Yeah? Apart from just getting up, go hustle. It's very different mindset. As if, so what we need to, what we did eventually is to fall in line. Because when you Canadian country here, nobody will tell you, but when you see our system they go, you take off a fall in line. So for example, if you look at the cost of, I'm giving an example like when we come out of this country, we saw the park now, we houses them, there was no lines. So everybody would just park and it was all right. Nobody would not make a fet, and there was no confusion. And then they start for the lines in. And I said to one of my friends back then, I goes, oh, this is going to be money. He says, what do you mean? I goes, the line within the do also, right? We got for can being paid for. And that's what it is. So they draw the line now like a car, space where we would park. And then what happened? That changed the way we would think. That means now, if I don't park now this space now for like a week, automatically in my own head, or other people, it's like my space. And so confusion starts, and then that's where they said, okay, now you're going to start paying for it. I goes, there we go. But what I'm saying is we had to fall in line. So there's a lot of stuff, paying bills, being responsible for your home, trying to get a home, how it works, all those stuff. Yeah, there's assistance, but you have to do the work. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't learn there, because if we not mean they obey law in a saloon, we care, nobody know what you say obey the law, because where you drive, first of all, and you park somewhere and give ticket and pay, you know what thing ever happened. So nobody know what tell you. We just fall in line, and that makes us that law abiding, become much more like a British, if you want to say, just fall in line with what you need to do. automatically you develop a sense of what? Responsibility, right? Obeying the law, right? And being careful, being responsible, basically. So when you look at Winatong, and I said, this is what we have to do, because the way we mindset don't be in a salon, whereby because we know, look at our value system, what makes us Sierra Leonean. And if it's your Mende, yeah, how do you make Mende become so much a nationalistic entity that has value to those who are coming so they could learn more about you? What have you done to create that workshop, that space, that shrine that could make money, that you now as a Mende person from different parts of different chiefdom could do the same, and then people from overseas, when they come, instead of can take you land, can take you space and create something different. This is what you beyond do, and this is what your leaders should have been doing. So at this stage, you grew up with a mind of responsibility, pride, and dignity, isn't it? So that means that you have a value system. That means that you're proud of your nationalism, yeah, of your nationality, of your tribe. And everybody obviously share the same. But where you have, for a long, long time, Nasalon, yeah, maybe for a very long time, this is not new. I'm not talking about something in the 80s or the 70s. Maybe let's look at the 60s or early, late 50s, early 60s, whereby the minds of the forefathers then that were curving, they want the way military for bring together independence, right? If you look at the mindset of back then, was very chaotic. People were not singing from the same hymn sheet. Even to the point of independence, there was chaos. They wasn't singing from the same hymn sheet. The history is there. So what did they talk about? People that were born in the 60s, where majority of we would survive, so, right? Say from the early 50s, or from the late 50s, 60s, right, 70s. Wait till we meet Natong is chaos. We're born with chaos in a sense that it doesn't matter if you come on a Madingo, Soso, Kranko. It's like the value system that you were taught was very, very small, or if at all any, apart from maybe as a man going to a man's society or a female going to a female society. That was about it. And when you come out, there was nothing to continue to preserve that. Or maybe you use those knowledge negatively, right? So, and this we can see that actually now within the Goana tongue, all these traditional knowledge that we have from the vegetation, from the forest, what we are doing, we're using it now against each other. Because we all lost the value system. Because as a result of that, our mindset now don't turn against each other, right? And this is a program. This is a program. And it's up to you as a Sierra Leonean to be able to change that mindset, right? So I was saying, yeah, if you take color away, Salomon, how many of we don't give we APC border then, SLPP border then, NGC border then, C4C border then, right? Money for do business, or we sister then, we fambule for do business, where the outcome of that was not beneficial, was not long term, was not sustainable. How many of we in the West get us to read it for tell? We boku, right? And the worst people fall short of this catastrophe of mindset delusion. Now Freetonians, because Freetonians is like sitting and waiting for things to come. The ability to actually go there and fight for yourself and fight for the free town itself is very, very, I don't know. There's no Freetonians now that could say you will fight for Freetown. So it's like a very commercial place, just looking out for yourself. Very capitalist place, looking out for yourself. So this is not the result. So I was saying, so it doesn't matter. It's just that we're not fully matured to be responsible, to understand that we need to create and develop or enact our value system. If the land you which you occupy has so much value that people are coming in there now and completely change the history of your village, and if you're not a minister or important person, you don't can sit on a freedom for such a long time, and you hear people and they talk about rivers that have been so much, has an historical value that lots of us could learn from. And as a result of that, the more we know about our country, the more we go for love them. And this is exactly the third paragraph. Knowledge and truth our forefathers spread, mighty the nations whom they led, mighty they have made thee, and so may we. This is exactly what we need to do. We should have been preserving the land if we had the knowledge passed on to us from our elders. And as a result of those knowledge, our value system will be far more greater. This is Clarence, aka Freestyle from Prosperity Radio. Thank you for listening, and make sure you share.